Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. Today I'm going to show you a strategy that comes from the channel Pine Trades. Pretty cool channel that is always showing different strategies. The video I'm going to present today is going to have two goals. The first goal is to show you how quickly and easy, without knowing any coding, you can backtest and confirm that the strategies that are being presented on YouTube are actually profitable. I'll show you step by step how you can backtest the full thing without knowing how to code a single line. Most of these YouTubers show you strategies. Unfortunately, most of the strategies do not work, but that doesn't mean that the content is absolutely useless. In fact, I find very cool the indicators that are presented in these channels, but unfortunately, you have to take the extra step most of the time and confirm by yourself if these strategies actually do work. Guys, if this is the type of content that you like to watch, please consider subscribing to the channel, enabling the notification bell, so every time I put out one of these videos, you get notified. Hit the like, and the best thing that you can do for this channel is to leave a comment down below and to watch the video until the very end. In today's video, I'm going to use a bunch of scripts that are offered to the VIP members of the TTP community. We're going to be using Risk Savage and a bunch of ADB plugins to get the job done and fully backtest this strategy precisely step by step with everything that the author is recommending. Do not worry if you don't have a VIP. Once the video goes out, we're going to calculate the total number of likes and the total number of comments. We're going to divide it by 20, and 7 days after the video is live, I'm going to do the calculation and put in the description a discount code for VIP subscription matching the number. In that way, you will have free access to all these tools, and you will be able as well to mimic everything I'm going to show you in the video. If you're already part of the community and you already have VIP subscription, feel free to follow the video step by step right now. And you can also join our Discord server and you can ask me any questions in my team so we can help you on how to get this working. We're going to create a chart empty. I'm going to load it with Cardano. This is the 1 hour time frame. I'm going to search by Risk Savage. This one here at the top. This is the backtester that is going to take all the signals from the strategy presented in the video. After you watch the video from Pine Trades, you're going to notice that he's using 3 different indicators that are pretty basic for the entry. You can take longs and you can also take shorts. So let's add one by one those indicators. The first one is the EMA, the second one is the MACD, this one here at the top, and the third one is the SUPERTREND. And we're going to use the one that comes with TradingView that doesn't have any author, this one there. On the MACD, we need to remove the MACD and the signal, so it's going to only show the histogram. And on the EMA, we're going to change this to white. Let's make it thicker so we can see it, and we're going to change the length to 200. That's going to give us a way to identify the longer time frame trend. The super trend doesn't require any changes. Let's go into the deal start conditions. We are going to enter a long when we get the super trend to flip green, while the MACD histogram is green and we are above the 200 EMA. So for example, this will be a long, this will be a long, and this wouldn't be a long because this one is below the 200 EMA. The first step is to get these 3 different conditions captured by one of the plugins that come with ADB called conditions. So let's search by conditions. In order for this to appear in your results, you will have to have already the VIP subscription, and you will find that all the indicators appear under invite only scripts by the name The Trading Parrot. I'm going to click 3 times because I need 3 conditions. And let's go one by one. The first condition is pretty simple. We want the price to be above the super trend because that's when this flips into green. So the first one is the close. We want it to be greater than the super trend uptrend. And as you can see, this is giving me a full block that lasts for the whole period when you are in an uptrend according to the super trend. We do not want that. We only want to get the signal when there is the flip. And that is very simple to achieve by just clicking first signal only. By doing so, we are removing the blocks, but we are keeping just the first time that we flip into green. Second, we need to capture all the time when the price is above the 200 EMA. We're going to use the second condition to do that. So we want the close to be above the EMA. So we are using greater than, and that's pretty much it. So you can see that when the price is below the EMA, we are not highlighting the area, and here neither there, and this is in green because we are above. So far the two first conditions are already captured. Now let's go for the third condition. For the third condition, we want to be in green in the histogram of the MACD. So that's again extremely simple. We want the MACD to be above the 0 line, because that is when the histogram turns into green. So for source 1, I'm going to pick the MACD histogram, this one there, and we want it to be above the value 0. So I'm going to select, instead of the source number 2, a value, and for the value I'm going to keep it on 0. So you can see that whenever this is green, now we have a bar here everywhere consistently showing the signal. So what's left now, we need to aggregate these 3 deal start conditions into a single one, and all of them need to be true at the same time. For example, here you get the first condition being true, which is the super trend flipping into green, but we do not have the price above the 200 MA yet, therefore this should be discarded. Okay, let's bring the second ADV plugin called the logic operator. This one is going to allow us to aggregate the 3 conditions that we already have. And in the logic operator, all that's left to do is to select each of the conditions, and we need to select the signal. So signal number 1, signal number 2, and signal number 3, and then we enable them, and we make sure that we keep this as an AND, because we want all things to be true at the same time and not just one of them or some of them. As you can see, the only times that this is triggering, it's around this area here, because that's the only time that we are above the 200, that the super trend is starting to become green, and that also the histogram of the MACD is green. Now that we have the signal that aggregates everything, we can collapse these panes so they don't keep too much space. We can even collapse the MACD, we can hide the super trend to keep the chart very clean, and even the EMA, because everything now, all the decision making is going to be done by the logic operator. It's going to do 2 jobs. The first one is to allow us to backtest the signal, and it's also going to allow us to send alerts if we wanted just to send this as an alert. But since we're going to backtest using RiskSavage already can send alerts for the entry, can manage the stop loss, it can decide the most recent swing low, swing high, it can manage the whole positioning of the stop loss and the take profit. So we won't be using logic operator to send the alerts, we will use RiskSavage directly. Let's do the last final part so we can start seeing the results of the backtest. We're gonna do the backtest of longs first, and then the shorts we will do it separately. We want to see how they perform individually. As you can see, this immediately offers you a risk reward. We can keep this at 1.5, or if we want something more aggressive, we can go for 2. And the placement of the stop loss, we have 2 options. We can place it based on the ATR, the average true range, which is a number that tells us how volatile is the asset at any point given in time, and based on that, it might place the stop loss further away or closer to the price. We also have the swing placement, which basically looks into the last candles and it attempts to put the stop loss right below a swing high or a swing low, depending if we are doing longs or shorts. Let's leave it at ATR. Let's remove these custom options. Since everything is coming from the logic operator, including the filtering of the trend, we're going to disable all the internal entries from RiskSavage. We got plenty of entries, we got plenty of trend filtering, but we already did all that job outside. Let's pick external here for strategy source, and let's look up for the logic operator, which is the last one here in the list, this one that says signal, and it's going to be printing a number 1, which coincides with what we already have there. And now we can enable things. Just out of the box, we are seeing this is the performance on ADA on the 1 hour. Let's have a quick look at some of the deals to see if it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. Let's re-enable the indicators to confirm. You can see here that in this candle it broke above the super trend, therefore we have an entry at the closing price on the next candle. We are green on the histogram, we are above the 200, so this is a correct entry for a long. The placement of the stop loss is using ATR, so the ATR was right there and that's why it's placing it here. The take profit is 1.5 ratio the stop loss, but if we wanted we could change this to using swing. If we use swing, it's going to look for the latest swing low of the price, and you can see the latest swing low is located around 0.3016. Why we didn't use the swing low here? Well, that's because for the swing low currently we're using 7 candles back in time to find it. If we start using a number that is larger, like for example 14, then most likely it's going to consider the last swing low for this number here. But as a compromise, because the stop loss placement is so far away from the price, you also end up placing the take profit pretty far, which can take quite a long time to play out, or you can also expose yourself to higher risk and hitting the stop loss. This is the challenging part, that you have to be deciding how far back in time you want to look up for the swing low or swing high. If you don't want to do that, you can just keep it in ATR. So let's go back to ATR. So now that we are able to fully backtest a strategy like this, we have the power now to decide whether this is a good strategy, is a bad strategy, or whether we want to invest further time in trying to improve it. Initially, I like to keep the strategy just as the author was suggesting and not touching absolutely anything. Try to just keep it like that, and then switch between different time frames and switch between different assets. When I see that the strategy is really underperforming on almost all time frames and also all the assets that I'm picking, then my disappointment grows so much that I think that it's not even worth even trying to fix it. But sometimes it shows some potential on some time frames and some assets, and then I start feeling tempted to put some extra effort to fix the issues that I'm seeing. Let's have a look at the performance in the 1 hour very quickly. So with VTC, it really underperforms. XRP is just a disaster. Let's see what happens if we use swing. Not much improvement. On Matic, it seems a little bit better just in terms of these numbers, but this was just mainly caused by a single move here in the beginning, but after that it's been going sideways and slightly bearish. So I will say that with the vast majority of the asset on the 1 hour, this strategy will require substantial work to get it in a good shape to being able to run it. As you can see, the vast majority of the assets, they have some sort of pump and then it starts declining, or some of them are absolutely a disaster. And this shows you as well that strategies that are put out on videos in YouTube, they are most of the time just cherry picking what is the best asset, what is the best time frame, but you cannot really do anything profitable with them. Cardano seems slightly better than the rest, but still not a strategy that I will use out of the box. If we go to the 4 hour, there is not much change. And I promise you that if you go to the 15 minutes, it's even worse. And there is some improvements that you can do layer by layer. For example, you can introduce the use of ADX. ADX measures the strength of the trend. And with a strategy like this, where we are taking basically a breakout on the super trend, we don't want that trend to be exhausted when we enter with a long. In fact, we want it still to be on an early stage of the beginning of a trend, so we still have some room to take profits on a higher price. And in order to filter out trends that are already exhausted, what we do is we pick the ADX and we make sure that it's less than a value of 40, less than a value of 35. And when I add this into the chart, again from one of the ADV plugins, and I also connect it to the logic operator as the fourth element of this equation, we can see how we go from 0.12 to 0.15. This is not the final solution to all the problems in the strategy, it's just a first step in the right direction. I also think that in some assets, the strategy performs so bad that even adding some of these filters won't really make much of a difference. But for example, on Matic and on ADA, on the 1 hour, they both saw a small improvement in the performance, but not enough for me to really be interested into working further with this strategy. I still think that it's a great exercise for you guys to go and look for other strategies from different authors on YouTube and getting good at backtesting the recipe that they're giving you, rather than just trying to run and copy trade it with real money, because most of them are going to be a great disappointment. So the quicker you are to discard them, then you're going to develop some sort of intuition to know which things are looking really good, and then only cherry picking those, bringing them with these tools, and then doing a very quick exploration test on whether it's worth your time. Alright guys, remember that the more comments and the more likes this video gets, the higher the sum that thing divided by 20 is going to turn into VIP subscriptions for free. After 7 days, I will do the calculation and I will add it in the description of this video. If you want those numbers to keep going higher, so you get a higher chance to get that VIP subscription, consider as well sharing the video with your friends on social media. I will really appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.